What's up, baby dolls? There are plenty of things happening in PulseChain, friends. I'm just going to show you the DickWifButt and Pulse ratio. You can see that, friends. It's really important to pay attention to lottery tickets. Remember, this is DickWifButt against Pulse. This is the Pulse ratio. So from a few weeks ago, literally, it popped up, man, almost 400%. That's almost a 5x on Pulse, on the SPI. That's why it's super important to pay attention to these. Remember, again, it is priced against the SPI, all right? So what we're actually going to go through today, friends, is adjusting everyone's expectations. What I've done is just shown you DickWifButt, and there are many others out there as well which have been successful. Of course, you're watching NANANA, friends. The banana going, pew, 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 NANANA, pew, 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 pew. You see this, friends? Step away from the sell button. You understand that? So this thing has popped up as well, and I just want you to know, so it's like 1.4 million market cap. It's part of the Tangang universe. Remember, friends, I'm just talking about them because they're just kind of relevant right now. They're in cheap zones. There are many other things out there too. pDAI, Teddy Bear, Atropa. There's 9-inch. You have Hexy Bastard, upgrading 9-inch exchange. You have a DCA feature. Poor Pleb, 9-inch, BBC, all these other amazing things happening. They're all happening on PulseChain. So I need you to at least concede for yourself that it is important to pay attention to the leverage altcoins. I call them leverage altcoins because pretty much that's what everyone is. Everyone's leverage on something, right? Like Bitcoin is leverage on the stock market, you know? So I just need you to know, I call them lottery tickets for your own safety. Are they really lottery tickets when they're like just an investment with high risk? It's pretty much, but yes, it's really important. You consider them like lottery tickets. You never go all in. Things can happen, man. Like for example, this project was going to go great. Then the founder gets sick. Maybe his poor mom needs him to look after her, and he's got to take like 9 months away and miss the bull market. You know what I mean? Then you have a risk. What if you went all in on that project? Just these things happen, right? Okay. And there's also things where you just don't have good product market fit. So I want you to just think about 2 years ago and now, friends, because 2 years ago, we're in 2022. We're right hot off the bull market. People think that pHEX was going to do really, really well. But now, friends, we still have a lot of memories from the past. We still have a lot of people still bag holding. And I'm going to use an example here, friends. Look at this Toyota Corolla, okay? So there are a lot of people still saying that HEX is like a cycle one coin. But look, man, it's not about me and you. I don't care about me, friends. It's about, on average, what do market participants actually think and actually feel. So the example I just want to show you, I mean, you already know from HEX's chart price, right? Even though everyone saw, friends, so just recently to catch you up, Richard Hart recently made a tweet, and I've got to be honest, it's extreme gaslighting. And it's like, oh, it's technically right, but it's not. But it looks like the migration scam, but it's not a scam. But it's basically saying, hey, pHEX made a new all-time high, but he just calls it HEX. And if you've been obviously in the game, you know, hey, there's something weird with that type of terminology because you're like, wait a minute, we're just going to pretend like the airdrop didn't happen, right? So you all know these are all the levels. Everyone knows these, friends. So whether we post about them or not, doesn't matter. I know for a fact, people with 10 million pHEX, 50 million, 100 million. I know they're watching these numbers. I know they know about these numbers, okay? These round numbers. PulseChain launched at 5 cents. Testnet around 10 cents. The fake launch was near 20 cents. PulseX sacrifice was 25 cents. Hex movie Mikey sells his house to buy up here, which is 41 cents. And the all-time high was 55 cents. So they know those prices, whether we want them to know it or not. So that's the most important thing to think about as you move older in age. People remember, man. People know these things because that's where they got in. Now, the example I'm going to use is, right, if you took a 2001 Toyota Corolla engine and then you put it in the engine, right, and you put it in a new 2024 car shell, you will fool a few people. They're like, oh, this car kind of moves, right? But then eventually, people who know how to read, they're like, wait a minute, there's 400,000 miles clocked on it. Okay, so you're going to fool some people at first, but then people eventually they realize, it's a bit more grunty. Something's wrong with this car. It's not a brand new car. They can tell, right? So 1% of people will accept. 99% of people will eventually just send it to the yard and move on. Okay, and then I even use this example because they're talking about eHEX, right, and pHEX and stuff. Okay, and the cycles. I go, well, imagine a billionaire came along and says, guess what? You know your Toyota Corolla. Let's give you some pump music, friends. That Toyota Corolla you have, it's brand new. It's really new. Here's a new shiny coat and everything. In fact, the paper even says it's brand new, okay? Your insurance claim says it's new, okay? And it's so new, I'll pay you $100,000 for it. And in real life, friends, what people will do is they go, oh, really? Okay, well, I'm going to line up and give me the 100 grand, I'm out. So that's what most people end up doing, okay? So that's not me or you talking. That's the marketplace on average does that. So effectively, I just threw out 100 grand because if you overpay, which is the equivalent of if the PulseChain sacrifice funds overpay and puts in too much money into pHEX, which is trying to like remove its diminishing gains effect, you will find more and more people exponentially lining up to get out and rotate out. You'll see that because we've seen it time and time again with many other examples, okay? So I just got to remind you, I have HEX exposure. Of course, I wanted to do well, but I've also got to remind you as well, there are other opportunities out here, friends. I've shown you like many times, right? You have ICOSA, which is leverage on HEX. Now, this is the ICOSA USD chart. I mean, so low. It's at 13 cents. I mean, look, it was at $1.38 back in 2022. Like, even if it just got back to the previous bear market, right, that's a 10x from here. But if you want to see the real juice, it is the ICOSA HEX ratio. So as you can see it right here, friends, if it goes up here, it's another 4x on HEX. So if HEX from here does a 20, and then you get a 4 on that, that's a big 80 bang. Of course, lottery tickets, friends, lottery tickets. Like, for example, what if he starts feeling demotivated? What if Alex Magic Big, the founder of ICOSA Hedron, like, we haven't heard from him in a while, could be cooking something in the background. He pretty much is, friends. He's going to, just to update you, he's working on like cross-chain staking, but I don't know if he's reimagining stuff now because Richard's anti-eHEX tweets. Maybe Alex says, you know what, I'm done. Maybe I don't like it. You never know, friends. Maybe Alex is looking at other chains. Maybe he's going to look at Bitcoin runes or he's going to look at Coinbase. I don't know. You know, you just don't know with these. That's why there's risks with everything. That's why you don't go all in on one thing and you just keep everything out on the sideline. You just be prepared that, hey, crypto is risky. So you're wondering, like, why is there even drama? If I'm explaining this so clear, well, I just want to take you back. I've made a video on this, but you've got to remember, right, this is Richard Hart saying, I can't really think of a reason why eHEX won't continue to be valuable.
I can't really think of a reason that eHEX won't continue to be valuable. I think even if pHEX is a better network, I think you're going to have two valuable things.
And if you watch the whole stream in his other valuable, he's probably thinking like kind of in line with ratio, okay? But then as we get to see, what happens is eHEX gets obliterated from the tweets, which is what we have here. This is eHEX. Watch, I'm going to show you, this is the eHEX USD. So I'll show you the eHEX pHEX ratio, and then this thing happens, bang, 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 and 85%. So we've gone down to maybe a new floor, and I have these arrows where basically you'd be punting. Where do you think we are from here? So friends, if you are super long from here, unfortunately, the market says, okay, we go down here because of Richard's tweets, I guess. But now we are at a new price zone. So that's why a lot of people get confused, not confused, because they just don't know how to invest. It all depends on the price you're in. You understand? It all depends on the price you're in. So buying eHEX at parity, you'll think that's expensive. Okay, which is all the way up here. You'd say, oh, that's pretty expensive today. However, buying eHEX at 0.18 of pHEX, 18% of it. Okay, now you're in a different story. You're in a different league of what you think. Okay, like, is this the cheapest thing right now? Yeah, it's cheap, but does that mean it has to be down at this price forever? No, it doesn't necessarily, based on liquidity and a lot of other functions out there. So ultimately, it's going to come down to one thing, friends. Look, a lot of people, they believe that, and it's going to come down to the PulseChain sacrifice wallet. So you want to know, okay, the crux of the issue. I'm just going to summarize it here for you, okay? I can actually show it to you on a nice chart, okay? So this is Ethereum, all right? This is Ethereum. At the bottom, Ethereum is $500 here. It's most likely Richard was expecting to buy Ethereum down here, and if we got it, can afford to carry eHEX and give very high call gains. However, he had to FOMO buy up here at 3,800, pretty much. Okay, so if you work it out, there is 84% less Ethereum than if we got the other timeline. So let's continue, right? So a lot of people, they'll first say, well, they believe that the sacrifice funds were not used in 2022 and 2023 because of potential legal issues. And I just want to remind you that that's wrong. That's pretty much wrong. Right, why? Because, friends, I'm going to show you. You see this? This is USDC de-pegging, okay? It crashed, it collapsed, okay? So we know that's wrong. Care about the legal issues and not being comfortable. It's because of Richard used, or whoever controls the PulseChain sacrifice wallet. I just can't figure that out, okay? There was an arbitrage trade done. USDC de-pegged. We had the Silverbank gate issue, and everyone thought USDC was running a Ponzi because now the bank that held all their money is liquidated, pretty much from the Fed hiking rates. So he did a hedge fund style trade. So basically, look, at the end of the day, friends, he had to trust their words, okay? He had to trust that the fish-eyed guy, the circle guy, I forgot his name is, okay? He basically came out and said, oh, we got all the funds there. It's going to be okay. Okay, but you have to trust this person's word that the funds on the bank are still there. You have to trust their word that they haven't done anything. You don't know that. You can't see that. Okay? And what ends up happening is USDC goes down. And so what Richard does is he swaps the $600 million of DAI. He swaps a lot of it into USDC. Okay? He DCAs in. And then when it comes back up, he gets back out into DAI. So I forgot how much he made. He made like 8 million out of it or something. It was like an arbitrage trade. Now I forgot how much he actually used, but it's a big chunk. You're trading with funds at that point. Okay, yes, it's no expectations and it's a sacrifice wallet. Okay, put all those words aside. We don't have time to go through 15 essays for everyone to get on board here. Okay, so it's possible, right? USDC, it could have been a Ponzi that weekend and then the entire SAC funds just go to zero. USDC, De-Peggs, it could have happened, but it didn't. Okay, but we only talk about this scenario, survivorship bias, right? So making $8 million is cool, but it kind of shows you the legal issues didn't matter. Okay, so if you were willing to buy a De-Pegged USDC, why weren't you willing to buy Ethereum? You should have. So basically where you look down into it, friends, because obviously USDC was infinitely more risky than just buying ETH because ETH's been through everything, right? And even OG Faraday, one of the like on-chain sleuth detective guys, he even found suspected Richard Hart Godwell wallet. I already made videos about this before. Apparently there's like 220,000 Ethereum across like 10 addresses. So if it's good enough to hold all that, clearly it should be good enough with the customers' wallets, funds, right? So what's likely happened though is he just stayed far away for a while, building PulseChain, staying back, and not just that, he was very bearish on crypto, very bearish. He's 10K Bitcoin, he kept saying it, 10K, 10K, 10K. We had the big meme, and everybody believed, yes, 10K Bitcoin's gonna come. And if we go down to the bottom here, that's what everyone thought. In fact, when we went up, he even kind of like doubled down here. He's like, you know what? There's resistance up here. I'm going to draw resistance. So he's basically expecting resistance. Bang, you're going to go down, a big capitulation, and then you can get it in. Instead, what the market does is it goes zoom. Okay, and then it prices in the ETF. So that's pretty much what ends up happening in our timeline. Okay, and the bear market has been done. Now, I'm not saying, look, here's the thing. Just to remind you, Richard tweeted. So many people believe that he was buying on his own account secretly or whatever. That's okay. However, after Bitcoin did 6 green monthly candles, he then tweeted, "Things I miss, the bottom." He started off one of the messages like that, okay? And then he actually uttered the words 240K Bitcoin. So then I made videos telling you, sounds like a capitulation, man. You were calling for 10K, 10K, 10K. All you could say was 10K Bitcoin. And then the next time I hear words out of your mouth about Bitcoin was 240K. And I'm like, oh, okay. Was that like, you know, you after 6 green monthly candles? And then he basically FOMO buys into Ethereum. And I know, friends, yeah, it's going to probably work out. It'll probably work out. I don't know the future, but it is FOMO buying. Yes, you're saying 6 green monthly candles, Bitcoin ETF. Okay, now we get in. And then, as you know, right, it was, you know, when I was saying FOMO buying, there were like some diehard maxis, God bless his friends, defending the temple. They were spitting at me because I used the word FOMO. Okay, it's not FOMO, it's not FOMO. And then what happens literally 6 weeks later, Ethereum drops 31%. And I'm like, you know how much that is difference, friends? That's 50,000 ETH. Do you think 50,000 ETH is decent? Well, you got 170,000 ETH, could have been 50,000 ETH. Now, of course, friends, he obviously weighed it up. He goes, look, if he's wrong and it kept going up, he's missed it. He's missed everything, the whole cycle. So he realized, he decided, he goes, you know what, I may as well just buy Ethereum now because of my price targets. But friends, there's another risk we got to talk about as well. Let's play some angel music. What if Richard's Ethereum targets are wrong? Right, now he's never talked about an Ethereum price target, but he kind of alluded to it in Q4 of 2022. He believed Bitcoin was going to 150 to 200K, and he thought Ethereum was going to about 100K. So, but I don't know if it's the end of the decade. He said within 5 years. Okay, so I don't know if he'd change that, right? So I just want to remind you, it is possible. Look, Ethereum's in a third cycle curse. It's possible Ethereum stops at 9K this cycle. It's possible. Or it goes to 11K and then smacks right under. But what if he's waiting for much higher? We don't know that. Okay, that's why there's risks with everything. There's risk. However, with the risks, you get enormous upside if it works out. Okay, if you don't want to take risks, you get into Bitcoin, and then now, okay, Bitcoin halving's behind you, Bitcoin ETF behind you. You know, all these things pretty much behind you. Now you got to worry about Mt. Gox selling. What's the next narrative? Okay, so you get to see it once again on the chart. You get to see it right here, and I'll draw it for you nicely. So pretty much, he wanted obviously this to happen, and then you can buy Ethereum. Instead, what happens is it goes up, bang. And he was still very bearish here. If you notice, friends, he was still tweeting back there, always bearish. So now it makes sense in hindsight. Like, Why are you coming out to just be bearish when the stock market's on? It's because he has a plan in his head. He's like, don't worry, I've got the SAC funds ready, no expectations. I'm gonna buy Ethereum on the big capitulation. That's the big daddy that I want. That's why he's like saying, hey, don't worry, I'm still bearish, because like it made no sense right at the time. You're like, wait a minute, if you're still bearish, why are you still building like, you know, PulseChain's being built and all this other stuff? Like, it makes no sense why it would even be like that. And you realize, oh, because, you know, like whether the economy and stocks are bearish doesn't matter. Like, what is he doing? Is he trying to gloat? Is he trying to just say, hey, I'm still a glorious leader. Look at me, I called the top of S&P 500. It was kind of funny. S&P 500 did 2 red monthly candles, 2 of them. He said he made his ultra bearish tweet, and then it did like 5 in a row. Snap. And that's where we are right now, the ultimate hyper pump, okay? So where does it bring us today, friends? You notice him finally change his view on HEX at the same time, around the same time. So he capitulates, he has to FOMO buy, and then, remember, I just showed you many years ago when they were collecting all the money from the SAC funds and everything was going great, and everyone thought, oh, okay, we're on top of the world forever. He's like, oh, I can't think of one reason why eHEX can't be as valuable, like near value as pHEX, right? Now he's changed. Now, people will say, friends, update worldview. But let's be honest, what does update worldview mean? So I'm going to dissect it here for you. Remember, I'm still long, still strong. My expectations didn't change from last year. They didn't change, by the way. So everything's still fine. So everything's still normal with my end. It's the people who have the biggest issue are the people who had, if you calculate expectations, friends, the average PulseChain member expected the whole ecosystem to be 500 billion to 1 trillion in size. That was their expectation. Okay, but now I'm going to show you there is about 85% less funds than that. So maybe you got to just divide that by 10. Maybe instead of 500 billion to 1 trillion, maybe now it becomes 50 billion to 100 billion. Maybe. Okay, I hope it's high. I really, really hope. I hope it goes there, goes sideways, and then it breaks it up again. I really do hope. However, just to remind you, XRP peaked at 90 billion while the SEC was lurking, you know, and funny enough, Solana recently hit 100 billion and then rejected off there. It's a trick for you. Went from 100 billion back down to 70. Touched 100 billion on the dot as well. That's crazy, right? So Richard Hartwright capitulates on being a bear. He makes all these long essays about, oh, you know what I mean, like I'm wrong, not wrong, or all these other stuff. But then soon after, friends, I mean, look, here it is. I am tweeting. Richard Hart had a bear capitulation moment when Bitcoin flushed up to 64K, just to remind you. So look at the series of events. In 2021, Richard Hart, I can't think of a single reason why eHEX won't continue to be valuable. That's 2021. Now in 2024, eHEX doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore pretty much. pHEX is the real hex, and you're actually up, not down. So what does that refer to? He recently did a tweet basically saying pHEX, he didn't even call it pHEX, he said HEX was near its all-time high. So basically, friends, if you just noticed, it was like an extreme, it's really, friends, I'm just telling you, all the Hexagon influencers, God bless you, okay? Good luck spinning that to your friends, your families, your close ones, your loved ones, and your community. I'm just saying good luck, man. Good luck, because that's not your friend Sonic. There is no way I'm going to the boys saying, hey, boys, you're actually at an all-time high. You're actually up, not down. We know, friends. We know, Habibi Alibi. We know it's down 98%, okay? But look, it's, friends, it's called the migration scam. I made a video on it. SafeMoon did it, by the way, which is kind of funny enough because Richard Hart always speaks about SafeMoon. SafeMoon had V1. They're like, oh, the price is too trash. Price is too trash. Let's relaunch it on something else. Pretend it doesn't exist. Change the chart. This is the new one. We're actually making new all-time highs, okay? So I'm just showing it. So it's marketing strategy. It's captain's call, okay? It's captain's call. That's why I'm telling you. I'm not saying, Richard, don't do this. I'm not criticizing. I don't care. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to be telling my people. I'm not going to be telling anyone, yeah, you're actually up, not down. That's full-on gaslighting. You sound like a schizo. You really sound like, hey, Colts are cool when the price goes up. Doesn't look so cool when you're down 98%, okay? Instead, captain's call, man. He had to make this call for the believers and everything. I guess he has to do it. He worked it out because, yeah, I got to play it this way. I got to play this role. I got to do this. So as it all happens, right, what happened? I'll show you the Ethereum chart, okay? Now, if we lived in a timeline, a parallel universe where Ethereum hits 500 bucks, Bitcoin is 11K, and Richard cheers for glory and says, I win. I'm the perfect caller of all time. If that world happens and he rotated the sacrifice wallet funds in, he would have 1.2 million Ethereum. Instead, we have 170,000. So if we were able to get that world of the $500 ETH, we would probably be looking at a rescued eHEX, we would probably be looking at a buyout of BankX already, you know, later on and stuff. We would probably be looking out for the 500 billion to 1 trillion market cap. Why? Because 1.2 million Ethereum at $9,000, okay, you get a $10.8 billion USD value, 10.8 billion. And that's a lot, $10 billion of funds. Bang, 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 bang. You got to imagine, okay? So that's pretty much, that's what that world would have been. However, we didn't get a $500 ETH. Instead, we got a $3,800 ETH. So that's something to just think about. That's why everything has basically come out the way it is. So what you've actually been watching, friends, to remind you, is your friend saw me here. I made videos like a year ago, man. I had like my expectations of PulseChain, but then the dilution effect came, so I have to divide it by 3. Okay, so the 50x above day one stack. Okay, maybe we got to divide it by 3. I don't know. Look, when it comes to these, my expectations have a range. So I got to remind you again, whenever a monthly candle comes, okay, friends, go on my Twitter and stuff. You'll see me replying every time a monthly candle comes. The other Hexagon influencers, PulseChain, PulseX, the first thing they'll do for some reason is they'll go, but Sami said we're not going to do 1,000x. They always do that. They always do that. And I'm like, bro, can you just shut up? You just jinxed it already. So then I'll have to go like, bro, we're down 90% and now we're up 70% in a month and you're talking about 1,000x already. Congratulations on the jinx. And by the way, that happened over and over and over again. That happened recently, friends. I can show you this, for example, in PulseX, just did this candle up here. And everyone's like, whoa, golly gee, you know, here we go. We're up like 300%. I'm like, dude, we're on the day one sack. We go to day one sack, then we dropped, as you saw, 70%. Everyone shuts their mouths already. So I'm not here. I'm on everyone's side. I'm just reporting to you, observing to you what happens, okay? Because I love seeing what happens, right? So every time that candle goes up, everyone says, but Sami said we're not going to do 1,000x. Every single time. I love you guys. I love you guys. And then the cycle plays out. I'm like, I say, hey, I think that was euphoria and complacency. Now you guys are in denial. The market is rejecting Richard's marketing. It's rejecting his bids. We didn't actually onboard enough people. You guys aren't adopting properly in terms of the wording and the language, okay? And people aren't buying it. Now, when I say that, friends, you got to remember, I am early. So because I am early, saying it around here. Now, friends, I don't even know how much it's going to drop. I just tell you things are running out, okay? So if you go down here on like a daily chart, this is it in real time, okay? See that? In this period, I'm saying, guess what? The market's rejecting it. Now, when I say that, it's considered FUD. Because you're FUDing too much. You're FUDing too much. But actually what's happening is, friends, the Wall Street cheat sheet, people are entering denial, anxiety, right? That's what happens. They go from complacency and then denial, okay? What happens after the denial and anxiety, they completely forget about your friend Sami and they go into straight capitulation of fear and all that, okay? And when they go down that far, they completely forgot that I was telling him, I go, hey man, the marketing actually sucks. And Richard's anti-eHEX tweet was more of an anti-PulseChain tweet, if you look at it, because everything went net down. eHEX, pHEX, everything's just been selling off, reacting negative to him, okay? But because he's still high, people are still high on the drugs, friends. People are used to, all of you're still used to this high dopamine. So you think the next stop, you're just going to keep going up. Instead, what happens, they'll go, we're running out, considered FUD, snap, okay? Now, once again, people always ask me, hey, why don't you go day trade these? No, man, just because I can see it here doesn't mean I can see it all the time, number one. And number two, you don't know how much it's going to drop. It could have dropped like 20% and then come back. You don't know, okay? But we still go through these emotional cycles. So when the crowd goes up, I have my roof resistance, okay? But then when the prices go down, friends, when the prices go down, all right, another thing happens. Many people will DM me saying, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You got scammed. Richard Hart can't do it. Okay, everyone's losing their money. You're never going to go up. You've severely outperformed. You're not in Solana. You're not in Coinbase. Okay, just admit you're wrong and move on. You're wrong. You're wrong. That's when the prices go down. And by the way, it's a different subset of people. So at the top, the believers call me fudders because they want everything to keep going up. I'm like, man, I hate to say it, but we're kind of running out of the emotions here. Okay, and then on the bottoms, you know those believer people, friends, they're gone. They're gone because they don't want to look at the price because you find out they're only green candle cheerers. Then when the red prices come, and I'm saying, guess what, man? It sucks, but the prices are cheap. But we're really, really, really low. The prices are cheap. The prices are cheap. Yeah, we're low. The prices are cheap. I keep saying that. and a new subset of people, like, you know, kind of like your Eric Walls, but not just Eric. Eric represents everyone. Eric. There's many other people that come out and say, you're wrong. I told you you're wrong. What a waste of time. It's stupid. It's trash and all these. Okay, it's different people. So you're always fighting different subsets of people. They're always seesawing, right? And it's funny, friends, the green candle cheerers and the red candle cheerers will both call me in the middle emotionally unstable. The green candle cheerers are so emotionally unstable that when the candles go up, they yell 1000x. As soon as it starts going down, they go, oh, Richard Hart, I don't know him. I'm out. See us. Okay, they're gone. Where are they now? They're gone. The red candle cheerers, they're also emotionally unstable, but they suffer in silence. Why? Because when the green candles appear, they get like really bubbly and like they like have rage because they know they missed out when it starts going up because they want everything to keep going down forever and ever, and they want it to be wrong so much. They can't imagine that a guy wearing literally a Pokemon Squirtle hat has been telling him, guess what? It's deep value, it's contrarian. Yeah, it's not 40x material like AI coins, but guess what? No one told me about those 3 coins that were going to pop around and told me to go all in on them anyway. You don't go all in on anything, but you get the point, okay? No one could tell me a thesis for those that was going to happen, okay? So both of them are actually, friends, emotionally unstable. One of them just react to the good stuff. Other ones just react to the bad stuff. You and me here, as my friend, okay, we're sitting here on squeaky chairs with our fluffy slippers on. We're in the middle, okay? We're in the middle and we go, okay, I have my upper price target range and my lower price target range, friends. You know, friends, every time the candles go up, the green candle dopamine dealers, they want you to just raise it high. I'm like, Habib, all right, if we want to go like 30, 40x above day one sack for PulseChain, for example, bro, can we please get to day one sack first? Can we get, and then that's considered FUD, just talking like that because the crowd wants to keep going. And then when we go back down, okay, a lot of people were saying, well, no, you FUD, admit you're wrong. And I'm like, bro, Habib, the coins that you're calling are the future have already ran up 320x. You are buying political trash meme coins on Solana and racist coin type of people, participants. You are buying the tops of stuff that's already had your turn, but you don't see it yet. You just think you're on your way to making a 10x, but you might be on your way to losing like a 70% and missing out on the next run because you're too afraid to take a loss. You see these two different cohorts of people, friends, and here we are with just our range. And we're not there yet. That's it. Every step of the way, pretty much priced all of it in. So it's still captain's call. Okay, Richard had to make the decisions he want. Guess what? He didn't get the $500 ETH. It is what it is. We're still standing strong. We're still doing it. But for the rest of us, you got to participate. Like I told you at the beginning of this video, friends, showed you DickWifButt. Okay, I'm not telling you to buy DickWifButt. Go sell it. Sell all your DickWifButt. I don't care. I don't care about these. I'm just telling you, you need more than core coins to make it. That's it. You need more. All right. 90% core, 10% lottery. Go and explore. Go and see other stuff, friends. Look at the amazing opportunity out there of other things going on. It's all in your hands now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Catch you soon.